I loved her, but she loved my brother. The love I never spoke out loud. By 2025, the city had learned how to glow even when people were breaking inside. Neon lights washed over cracked sidewalks, and music floated from passing cars like half-healed memories. Caleb Harris stood by his apartment window most nights, phone in hand, rereading messages he never sent. The messages were all for Ariel. He had loved her quietly, carefully, for almost 3 years. The kind of love that learned her moods, her silences, and the way she laughed before she trusted anyone. The kind of love that waited. Caleb met Ariel through family. She was a friend of his younger cousin, always stopping by during gatherings, always bringing warmth with her. She wasn't loud or flashy. She was steady, intentional, real. "What you staring at?" his older brother Marcus asked one evening, stepping into the room with a grin and 2 bottles of soda. "Nothing," Caleb replied quickly, locking his phone. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You been saying nothing a lot lately." Caleb smiled weakly. He didn't know how to explain that his whole heart was sitting in a single unread text. Because Ariel didn't see him the way he saw her. She saw Marcus. The night Caleb realized the truth was loud, crowded, and cruel in its simplicity. It was their aunt's birthday. Music, laughter, plates clinking. Ariel arrived late, breathless, wearing a soft blue dress. Caleb noticed everything, the way she adjusted her hair, the nervous excitement in her eyes. But her eyes didn't search the room for him. They found Marcus. "Ari," Marcus laughed, pulling her into a hug that lasted a second too long. Caleb felt it then. A quiet collapse. Not dramatic. Just final. Throughout the evening, Caleb watched them drift together like magnets. Inside jokes. Shared glances. Comfort. At one point, Ariel leaned close to Marcus and whispered something that made him laugh out loud. Caleb excused himself to the balcony. The city hummed below him, alive and indifferent. "So it's true," he whispered to himself. "I loved her, but she was in love with my brother." Weeks passed. Ariel didn't pull away from Caleb. If anything, she leaned on him more. "You're such a good listener," she said once, sitting beside him at a cafe. "You always understand me." Caleb swallowed hard. "I try." She smiled. "Marcus says the same thing about you. He's lucky to have you as a brother." Lucky. That word burned. One rainy night, Ariel finally said it. "I think I'm falling for Marcus," she confessed softly. "And I needed to tell you because I trust you." Caleb nodded. Gentle. Broken. "I want you to be happy," he said, and meant it, "just not like this." That night, alone in his room, Caleb let himself feel everything he had been holding back. Not anger. Not hatred. Just grief. Because loving someone doesn't guarantee they'll love you back. And sometimes, the deepest heartbreak is watching the person you love choose someone you share blood with. Marcus noticed the change before anyone else did. Caleb stopped lingering in shared spaces. He came home later. Spoke less. Smiled only when necessary. The easy laughter they once shared felt replaced by polite silence. One evening, Marcus caught him in the kitchen. "You good?" Marcus asked, leaning against the counter. Caleb hesitated. "Yeah." Marcus shook his head. "That's not an answer. You've been gone even when you're here." Caleb's hands tightened around his glass. For a moment, he considered lying, like he always did. But something inside him was tired. "She loves you," Caleb said quietly. Marcus frowned. "Who?" "Ariel." The room went still. Marcus exhaled slowly. "I know." Caleb finally looked at him. "Do you?" Marcus nodded. "She told me she's falling for me. I wanted to talk to you first, but I didn't know how." Silence stretched between them, heavy and fragile. "I loved her," Caleb said, voice steady but thin. "I never said it. I waited too long." Marcus looked away, guilt flickering across his face. "I never meant to hurt you." "I know," Caleb replied. That doesn't make it hurt less. Caleb moved out 2 weeks later. Not in anger. Not dramatically. Just quietly, like someone choosing peace over proximity. Ariel noticed immediately. Why didn't you tell me? She asked when they met at a coffee shop. Caleb met her eyes. Because loving you didn't mean owning you. Her breath caught. I never wanted to hurt you, she said. I know, he replied gently. But intention doesn't erase impact. She reached across the table. Caleb didn't take her hand. I need space, he continued. Not because I hate you, but because I'm learning to choose myself. That night, Ariel cried alone for the first time, not because of heartbreak, but because she realized something terrifying. She had leaned on Caleb without ever seeing him. Time changed things, but not evenly. Marcus and Ariel tried to build something real. But shadows followed them. Unspoken guilt. Lingering questions. One night, Ariel admitted it aloud. Why do I miss him? She whispered. Marcus didn't answer right away. Because he loved you without needing anything back. That truth sat between them like glass. Meanwhile, Caleb found himself again. Slowly. Therapy. Late-night walks. Journaling the words he never said out loud. He wrote one line over and over. I was not unchosen. I was simply not meant for her. And for the first time, that sentence didn't feel like defeat. It felt like freedom. Ariel sat alone in her apartment, the city humming beneath her window. Marcus had left an hour earlier, their goodbye polite but strained. She stared at her phone, rereading old messages, laughing emojis, voice notes, long midnight conversations. Most of them were with Caleb. She realized something unsettling. Marcus made her feel excited. Caleb made her feel safe. And she had never learned how to tell the difference. For the first time, Ariel asked herself a hard question. Was I in love, or was I simply choosing what felt familiar? Marcus found Caleb one evening at a quiet cafe across town. No warning. No text. Can we talk? Marcus asked. Caleb nodded, bracing himself. Marcus spoke first. I think I rushed into something that wasn't fully mine. Caleb didn't respond immediately. He took a sip of coffee. Are you telling me this to clear your conscience, or because you want advice? Marcus swallowed. Both. Caleb sighed. I'm not the referee in your love story. I already played my part. Marcus looked down. She talks about you. More than she realizes. That's not love, Caleb replied softly. That's comparison. And nobody wins in that. Caleb met Nia by accident. She was confident without being loud, kind without performing it. They talked about books, family, therapy, and healing like two people who didn't need to impress each other. One evening, she said, I like how you take up space without apologizing. Caleb smiled. I just learned how. With Nia, there were no shadows of unspoken love. No borrowed affection. Just clarity. Ariel showed up at Caleb's door on a Sunday afternoon. I need to say this, she began. I didn't choose you because I didn't understand what love looks like when it's healthy. Caleb listened. I'm not asking you to come back, she added. I just needed you to know. You mattered. You still do. Caleb nodded. Thank you for saying it. But my future isn't built on what almost was. They hugged. Brief. Respectful. Complete. As Ariel walked away, Caleb closed the door, not in bitterness, but in peace. Because love finally met him where he stood. Caleb didn't rush happiness. That surprised him the most. With Nia in his life, there was laughter, warmth, and steady affection, but he didn't cling to it. He had learned that love wasn't something to grab tightly out of fear. It was something to stand beside, not chase. One morning, sunlight filled his small apartment as he brewed coffee. His phone buzzed. Nia, how are you really? Caleb smiled. He typed back slowly. Caleb. Present. And that's new for me. He meant it. Therapy wasn't gentle with Ariel. Her therapist didn't let her hide behind good intentions. You leaned on emotional safety without responsibility, the woman said calmly. That's still harm. Ariel cried, not because she felt judged, but because she felt seen. I never meant to use him, Ariel whispered. Impact doesn't wait for intention, the therapist replied. But accountability creates growth. For the first time, Ariel stopped centering herself as the victim of the situation. She began centering truth. Marcus lost sleep. Not because he lost Ariel, she hadn't left yet, but because something between them had quietly collapsed. One night, he admitted it. I don't think I earned this relationship, he said. Ariel nodded slowly. I don't think I was ready for it. The honesty was painful, but clean. They didn't argue. They didn't blame Caleb. They ended things with respect. And silence. Weeks later, Marcus stood outside Caleb's apartment. I'm not here to ask forgiveness, Marcus said when the door opened. I'm here to earn back trust, if that's even possible. Caleb studied him. It'll take time, he said. But I'm willing to try. They didn't hug, but they talked. 4 hours. And that was enough, for now. Nia never asked about Ariel. She didn't need to. One evening, she said quietly, I don't want to be chosen after someone else. I want to be chosen because you're ready. Caleb took her hand. I am. And this time, there was no hesitation. 2 years changed everything. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just honestly. Caleb stood in his aunt's backyard at a family gathering, watching children run past folding chairs and adults argue playfully over food. The air smelled like grilled meat and summer rain. Laughter rose and fell like music. For the first time, he didn't feel tense being here. Marcus stood across the yard, older somehow. Softer. When their eyes met, Marcus nodded. Caleb nodded back. No resentment. No competition. Just history that had finally settled. Ariel arrived later. Caleb noticed her, but the way you notice weather. Present, but no longer personal. She looked different. Not prettier. Not sadder. Clearer. They spoke briefly near the drinks table. I'm glad you're happy, she said, meaning it. I am, Caleb replied, meaning it too. There was no ache in his chest. No wondering. No what if. Only respect. And gratitude for a chapter that taught him who he was. Nia joined Caleb, slipping her hand into his without asking. This feels easy, she whispered. Caleb smiled. That's how I know it's right. Later that night, as the sun dipped low and the city lights began to glow, Caleb stood quietly, taking it all in. Once, he loved a woman who loved his brother. Once, he thought that meant he wasn't enough. He was wrong. Love didn't pass him by. It waited until he stopped shrinking. Marcus approached Caleb before leaving. I'm proud of you, he said. Not for moving on, but for not becoming bitter. Caleb nodded. I had to choose peace. Bitterness would have kept me tied to a past that didn't choose me. They hugged. Not like boys. Like men who had learned something hard and survived it. That night, Caleb wrote one final entry in his journal. I loved her. She loved my brother. And somehow, that didn't break me. It taught me that love should never require self-erasure. And being chosen starts with choosing yourself. He closed the book. Outside, the city pulsed with life. Inside, Caleb felt whole. Not because he won love, but because he stopped chasing it and became ready for it.